State of Wisconsin versus Zachary Chafee, 25 CF 53, State of Wisconsin versus Laura Chamberlain. Appearances are, we do have the state appearing through District Attorney Kevin Schmidt in person. We do have Zachary Chafee appearing in person with his counsel, Charlene Perrin. He appears in custody. We have Laura Chamberlain appearing in person in custody with her counsel, Renee Landgraf. We're set here today in this matter for a joint motion hearing. This is motions filed by both sides to suppress. Are we ready to begin?
Yes,
All right, Mr. Schmidt.
I'd call Karen Krupa.
Deputy Krupa, please come forward, raise your right hand, be sworn in. Well, I'll swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, please have a seat at the witness stand. All right, you may begin.
Could you state your name for the record?
Karen Krupa, Krupa.
Guys, today we're diving into a tense courtroom face-off where two defendants stand side by side, both accused in a heated property dispute.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a deputy with the Burnett County Sheriff's Department
How long have you been so employed?
since August of 2019.
Were you so employed on March 16th of this year?
Yes,
On March 16th, did you get a call regarding a Madison Avenue address in Grantsburg?
yes.
Can you describe what specifically the call for service was?
I believe it was about like 8:57 a.m. was advised that a Troy Chamberlain called wanting to meet a deputy at the Grind Coffee House in the village of Grantsburg, as he had paperwork from Polk County that he was ordered a 101 Madison Avenue, that building. He was awarded that through Polk County. And he wanted to go over the paperwork with me and make up a plan before going over there.
Did you meet with this person at the Grind?
Yes, I did.
How did that interaction go?
I met with Mr. Chamberlain at the coffee house. He introduced himself as well as his girlfriend and a armed security gentleman that he had hired. I don't remember his first name, but I know his last name is Kackman. And he provided me with the court order from Polk County.
If you saw that court order, would you recognize it?
Yes,
Do you recognize what that document is?
yeah, it's the court order that was provided to me from Mr. Chamberlain.
Why did Mr. Chamberlain want to go over this court order with you?
Let me see, it'd be section 13 of this. It states that if the property has not been sold by March 15th, 2025, then Troy Chamberlain shall have sole access possession of the Madison Avenue property commencing March 16th, 2025.
Is there mention about law enforcement specifically in the order?
No,
Can I direct your attention to page 4, paragraph 10? If that would refresh your recollection.
oh, yes, in section 10. It states when she vacates, Laura M. Chamberlain shall remove all of her personal property from the Madison Avenue property. Law enforcement shall assist in removing Laura M. Chamberlain from the Madison Avenue property.
Okay. So Troy wanted your assistance enforcing that part of the order.
Correct.
Okay. What did you do after meeting with them at the Grind?
Approximately at 10 o'clock then, I went over to the property at 101 Madison Avenue. I went to the south side of the property, which there's an alley that goes through it. And I began knocking on the door several times, no answer. I went to the east side of the property where there was a door, knocked several times, no answer. Went to the north side of the property that is along Madison Avenue, knocked several times, no answer. The locksmith that Mr. Chamberlain had brought with him to change the locks on the building, he arrived on scene. We went back to the south side of the building. Again, knocked several times, no answer. The locksmith then began to attempt to get into the building through the lock, picking it, and was not successful because he felt as though the door was boarded from the inside. So the door was not able to move open. So we then went to the east side of the building. The locksmith thought that was not a good idea to try and use that door for an access point. So then we went to the north side of the building where the locksmith began to pick the lock, was unsuccessful. He got a drill, was then about to drill the lock out when the door was opened.
Who opened the door?
Zach Chaffee,
Okay. How did that interaction go?
he asked what we're doing. I advised him that I was there on behalf of Troy Chamberlain, and Mr. Chamberlain was awarded the building. And Mr. Chamberlain wanted all subjects that were in the building out of the building.
So just to clarify before we go further, who all was with you when you were out here beyond just you and the locksmith?
At this time, it was myself, the locksmith, and the armed security guard, Mr. Kackman, and I believe Deputy Noah Barker had arrived then on scene prior to Mr. Chaffee opening the door.
Okay, so continue. What happened then?
Mr. Chaffee hollered into the building for Laura to come, and Laura Chamberlain essentially came to the front. Mr. Chaffee advised that he was a tenant of Laura's. Mr. Chaffee provided what appeared to be some sort of lease agreement. I looked at that and I told him at this point, I am unsure if this is even like a valid lease agreement and that it would be a civil matter and they would have to take it up in court.
Why were you questioning whether it was a valid lease agreement?
So prior to going and meeting Troy Chamberlain at the Grind Coffee House, I looked up on CCAP, the Polk County case with the divorce involving Troy Chamberlain and Laura Chamberlain. And I read through the CCAP notes in regards to that. Particularly the notes that I read were involving the property at 101 Madison Avenue. And reading through the notes, at no time did Laura Chamberlain ever advise the judge that, you know, she was a landlord and she had subletters in that building.
Was there any mention of that in the order that Troy provided you?
No.
Okay. So what happened then after you advised Chafee of that?
Laura asked if she could go in and get a dog and a cat and some belongings. He said that was fine. Deputy Barker and I followed Laura and Zach into the building to where essentially it was downstairs where their living quarters were. They had to unlock a door to get into where their living quarters were. Grabbed a cat, a dog, some personal belongings. They asked about the remainder of their property. I advised them that they would have to contact Troy Chamberlain to set up, you know, something to retrieve the remainder of the property. And then they exited the building.
Okay. Well, did you do anything else in the building at that time?
Not at that time, no.
While you were in the building escorting Chafee and Chamberlain out, did you observe any evidence of any crime?
No,
Did you collect any evidence of any crime?
no.
Okay. What did you do next after they vacated the premises?
As soon as they vacated the premises, I talked to the security guard Kackman, asked him if he was going to stay with the locksmith while he changed locks on the building. He stated he would. And then Deputy Barker and I retreated from the property.
Okay. Did you get any more calls for service related to this property that day?
Yes, at approximately around 11 a.m. I can't recall if it was Troy or if it was his girlfriend, Deborah, that called stating that they think they found a marijuana grow operation in the building and requesting us to come back to the building.
Did you come back?
At the time, I was currently busy on another call. Deputy Barker responded to the building. He arrived there prior to I did. When I arrived at the building, I hollered in and asked Deputy Barker where he was at. Essentially, I found them, I believe it was on the 3rd floor of the building, on the south side of the building, which is closest to the alley. When I went in there in the southeast corner of the room, there was like a makeshift wall that was constructed with 2x4s and can't think of it right now, but wall material,
Drywall?
drywall. And behind that, there was a large pot with a green leafy vegetable material coming out of it. There were like heat lamps up above as well as fans that were in there as well. Deputy Barker took pictures of this. I put gloves on, was able to extract the plant from the pot with the roots.
Deputy Krupa takes the stand and unfolds a wild chain of events that started with a simple eviction order and ended in confrontation.
And there were other numerous green vegetable plants that were also on that 3rd floor. They did not appear as though they were narcotic producing plants. So we left those. And Deborah stated they had found some pills in one of the rooms. I took the pills in the room. We did not locate anything in the room that had anybody's name or like bills or anything like that in the room. So I took the pills and confiscated those and advised Troy and his girlfriend that obviously it's a very large building. You know, if they're going to go through and search the building, that it's going to take them some time to go top to bottom to where they feel as though they've looked at everything in the building. So if they find anything that looks like it may be used for making narcotics, something that is narcotics, to basically take a picture of it, document it, and then once they feel as though they've gone through the entire building, to call either the sheriff's department or Grantsburg Police Department to come and collect said items.
Okay. So you guys took the one plant then?
Correct.
What did you do with it?
So I returned back to my office, went down to our evidence room, placed the plant in 2 paper bags, sealed them, initialed them, and put them in an evidence locker. With the pills then, I then checked on the pill identifier website. The pills were not any kind of illegal substance, narcotic, nothing like that. So I entered them into evidence to be destroyed.
Okay. So before we go on, you've said it's a big building. It's got 3 floors and a basement. Could you describe in layperson's terms, what is this building?
Well, it used to be a bank essentially, and then was turned into a bar. And that's last I knew of it.
So it's a commercial property in Grantsburg.
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever go into the basement the second time around?
No, I did not.
Did you go into any other parts of the building that you haven't described already in your testimony the second time you went there?
The first time we went down to the basement where the bedroom was located. The second time we went up to the, I believe it was the 3rd floor. No other rooms did we go in.
At either time that you entered the building, did you observe any sort of lab for creating chemicals?
No.
Okay. prior to going there the first time, did you have any reason to believe that Laura Chamberlain or any tenant were committing any crimes at the property?
No,
Were you ever investigating any crimes other than the second time when the call was for the plant?
no.
Okay. Then I'll just get my papers back. At the end of this, I'm gonna move to have those marked and entered in, but otherwise, that's it for my questions for this witness.
Right, thank you. Ms. Landgraf?
Thank you. Deputy Krupa, is it Chafee or Chaffee? Mr. Chafee handed you a lease to the building.
Correct.
What did you do with that lease?
I looked over it and then handed it back to him.
And did you do anything to verify or confirm that the lease was not valid?
No,
And Mr. Chafee again called you later on that afternoon and again told you that he had a lease to that building.
correct.
And at that time, did you do anything to confirm or deny that the lease was valid?
He had stated that there was also another subject that lived there. I asked him what his name was. He said it was a Harold Air. I asked Mr. Chafee if he could spell the last name. And I believe we came up with something with the spelling of H-E-I-R. I searched our in-house database for any kind of Harolds with that last name and was not able to come across anybody in our in-house records.
Did you search for an eviction case?
On Mr. Chafee?
On the property, yes.
No,
Are you aware if Mr. Chafee was ever served with a notice to terminate the tenancy?
no,
In the order on contempt that you just received from Mr. Schmidt, that was from Polk County, correct?
correct,
Not Burnett County where the property is located.
correct.
You testified that Troy Chamberlain initially called that day. If your report indicates that Deborah called, would that be correct?
Yes, if my report states that Deborah was the initial caller, then yes,
And then you had met with Troy Chamberlain and Deborah.
correct.
And for clarification, who is Deborah?
At the time, she introduced herself as Troy Chamberlain's girlfriend.
She's not law enforcement.
No,
And I believe that you testified when you went back to the residence, Deborah had told you that she found some pills.
correct,
And she also told you that she looked them up online and that they were narcotics.
correct.
And then did you look them up to double check to see if they were narcotics?
Yes, as I stated earlier, when I returned back to my office, looked them up on the pill identifier website. They're not listed as narcotics or anything that you need a prescription for. So they were marked as to be destroyed.
And then that same day, after you had essentially told Troy and Deborah and Aaron Kackman, he was there too,
Correct.
to, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What did you tell them to do as they were searching the building?
Essentially, if they came across anything that appeared to be illegal, narcotics, used in the making of drugs, to essentially take a picture of it, document it, and then once they were fine with, as though they feel as though they've searched the entirety of the building, to call either the sheriff's department or Grantsburg PD back. And then we could come and collect any items that were they felt were narcotics.
Okay. And then later on that same day, even though you told Troy and Deborah and Aaron that Troy called back and told you that he'd sent you some pictures that he believed was a methamphetamine lab.
So at first he stated he found what he thought was to be a methamphetamine lab. I asked Troy if he could take some pictures of it and send it to my work cell phone, and he stated he would.
Okay, and did you receive those pictures?
Yes, I did.
And what were your observations when you looked at those photos?
I reviewed those photos with Sergeant Brugman. There were some glass jars containing what appeared to be some sort of brown liquid. I believe one was a Instapot, coffee used in making coffee. Essentially, Sergeant Brugman and I reviewed those photos. Sergeant Brugman has years and years of experience, as well as I do, but not with drug labs. And we came to the conclusion that the pictures that Troy Chamberlain were showing us were not those that appeared to be a methamphetamine lab.
Okay, and you told Troy that?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions.
Ms. Perrin?
Thank you. Going back to when you went back to the property after the call for the marijuana plant, do you remember what day of the week that was?
I believe that was on a Sunday.
Okay, and do you remember what time of the day that was?
The second time we went back there, it was around 11:30.
Okay, and what is the procedure for getting a warrant for a house search when it's off hours?
Just when things seem over, the deputy is called back to the same building. This time, a drug grow alert shakes things up.
Well, essentially, you have to have probable cause that constitute that there's a crime has been committed inside. There's evidence of crime inside somewhere. So then essentially you draft a warrant. Normally I would call probably my captain or my narcotic detective if I thought it was something involving drugs, talk to them about it. And then after the warrant was drafted, then we contact the judge.
And how do you do that on a Sunday?
I contact dispatch, who would then provide me with a phone number for the judge or whoever's on call that day.
Okay, and in this county, are you able to get a warrant electronically, or do you do that in person with the judge, or how is that accomplished?
I have never personally had to get a warrant signed by a judge on a weekend in this county, but essentially it could happen two different ways. One via electronic, where you speak with the judge over the phone and everything's recorded. You send the warrant to the judge reviews it and either approves or denies it, an electronic signature. Or if we're able to, and if it's not an inconvenience to the judge, then we will meet with the judge and personally hand the warrant.
Okay. Do you recall, so that second phone call that you received related to the photographs that you were sent, did you follow up on that and go back to the house?
No, Sergeant Brugman and I reviewed the photographs that Troy Chamberlain had sent me. And at the time, we did not feel as though that the photographs that were sent were those of a methamphetamine lab.
And at what point did you go back to the home?
I never did.
Okay. Now, I just want to clarify your statement to Ms. Broughton and Mr. Chamberlain. In your report, you wrote, Deputy Barker and I advised Troy and Broughton that if they find anything further, to just document it, and when they are finished going through the entire building to call. Is that an accurate recitation of what you wrote in your report?
Correct.
Okay. So then going back to the Polk County case. Mr. Chafee was not a party to the divorce of Mr. Chamberlain and Laura Chamberlain, correct?
Correct. I never saw his name mentioned.
Okay. And are you aware of the purpose of the minutes? You stated you reviewed the minutes in the court case, correct?
Correct.
And that's the Polk County court case. Are you aware of the purpose of those minutes?
Basically just states what happened during the court proceedings.
Are you aware that they don't always say everything that happened in the proceeding?
Correct.
Okay, they're not, in other words, they're not a verbatim recitation of everything that happened in the court
Correct.
proceedings.
Correct.
Thank you. No further questions.
Redirect?
Both times you entered the building, did you have permission of Troy Chamberlain?
Yes.
The lease that Zachary Chafee claimed he had on the building, was Laura Chamberlain the holder of it?
Correct.
Did the sheriff's office take possession of the building after Laura Chamberlain and Zachary Chafee vacated?
The sheriff's department did not.
You gave it over to Troy Chamberlain.
Essentially, it was Aaron Kackman who was there on behalf of Troy Chamberlain.
When you directed Troy and Deborah to document, they found when you returned the second time, why did you go that route rather than coming back each time they found something?
Well, essentially, there's only 2 deputies that are working in the entirety of the county. So if we received multiple calls throughout the day for maybe a pipe found or a pill found, we would be running back to the building numerous times. So where we wouldn't be able to handle priority calls, or we would be essentially disrupted from either handling priority calls or things in that nature.
So at the time they called you the second time, they had searched part of the building, found something, and it hadn't finished the rest.
Correct.
So your goal in telling them that was to save total county time.
Correct.
Okay, no further questions.
Ms. Landgraf?
Thank you. Just one follow-up here from Attorney Perrin's questioning. Did you review the CCAP minutes from the contempt hearing on February 3rd, 2025?
Contempt hearing involving the divorce of Troy and Laura?
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure, but I read through the minutes that were posted on CCAP.
Okay, so if the minutes state Laura Chamberlain calls Zachary Chafee in the minutes on February 3rd, 2025, that's listed online, would you have any reason to doubt that?
No, I mean, that was from March and we're now in October, so.
Okay, so
7
you just don't
months.
recall.
Correct.
No other questions?
Ms. Perrin?
I have one more follow-up. You were asked about Mr. Kackman. Have you ever reviewed any information to find out if Mr. Cackman had any kind of license as a security guard?
No,
And have you reviewed, excuse me, have you ever reviewed any information to find out if Mr. Cackman was a licensed private detective?
no,
Okay, so what you know is simply that he's representing himself as that.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
We all done, Mr. Schmidt?
One redirect. Troy Chamberlain and represented to you, Aaron Cackman was his security guard.
Correct.
Okay, no further questions.
Ms. Langgraf?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Perrin?
Nothing else.
All right, you may step down. Thank you. Mr. Schmidt, next witness.
I call Bridget Getz.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you may be seated. You may be.
Could you state your name for the record?
Bridget Getz, Getts.
What do you do for a living?
I am a police officer for the Village of Grantsburg
How long have you been so employed?
since August of 2018.
Were you so employed on March 19th?
Correct.
Were you so employed on March 16th?
Correct.
On March 16th, were you involved at all with, I guess you were just here, everything you heard Karen Krupa testify to?
No, I wasn't involved in that part on that day.
Okay. When did you get involved with the Madison property?
On Wednesday, I believe, the 19th,
How did you get involved?
I received a phone call that there was a male trying to gain access with a key to the building, but was struggling, and he had a sidearm on his person, and they were concerned about that.
Who called that in?
The Public Works Director.
And he was calling about the Madison Avenue property?
Yes, sir.
Had anyone else called you previous in the day about that property?
Yes.
Who called and what about?
I spoke to Troy Chamberlain regarding that property. And he advised me that there was numerous things of drug paraphernalia, possibly some lab type equipment with an unknown substance in it. And he stated that he had an appointment at the VA's hospital that morning, and he was going to reach out to me after he was done, and we were gonna set a time for him to meet with us and grab or take the property that they had located inside.
Okay. And that was just earlier that day.
Yes, sir.
So what did you do later about this call about someone in the building? What time of day was it for the second call?
The second call came in at 11:25.
AM or PM?
I'm sorry.
In the morning or around?
Oh, I'm
midnight?
sorry, AM.
Okay. So what did you do next?
The courtroom mood shifts sharply as the officer admits key steps were never verified. Doubt begins to outweigh evidence.
I went to, it would be the north door. I knocked and knocked and knocked. There was nobody that would come to the door. As I drove, I actually drove down alongside the building so I could see the south side of the building. I was not able to visually see anybody trying to gain access. Then I came down by the east side. I was not able to see anybody there either. And then when I turned onto Madison Avenue and headed west, I was able to visually see the north side of the building, and there was nobody there. So I walked up to the building. I knocked on the front doors repeatedly. Nobody came. I turned and headed west and went south on Pine Street. So I was able to look at the east side of the building once again, and I saw the blinds moving, and I looked and I saw a motion like this. And it was Mr. Cackman pointing me back to the front door. So then I turned around and went back down to the north side of the building, the entrance on Madison.
Okay. Did you make contact with anyone once you did that?
Yes, I made contact with Aaron Cackman.
Did you have any idea of who Aaron Kackman was at the time?
Yes, I was advised that he was the security guard hired by Troy Chamberlain to be at that property.
Who advised you and when?
I received that information from Deputy Krupa, and it was either on Sunday or Monday, we had spoke about that.
Why did you think to talk to Deputy Krupa about that?
Well, I was at home on Sunday because I wasn't working and I was monitoring the traffic and I heard the village of Grantsburg, so I was just listening to what was happening. So I touched base with her.
So you heard the dispatch traffic of the call involving Karen Krupa on Sunday.
Correct,
Then you touched base with her about what that was about.
correct,
She had told you Troy Chamberlain had a security guard named Aaron Kackman.
correct.
Okay. Is that how the person at the front door introduced himself to you?
Yes.
How did things go from there?
He asked me if I wanted to come in and look at the stuff that they had already found that I had previously earlier that day had spoke to the building owner, Troy Chamberlain, about. And I said, sure.
So what then?
We just entered the building and walked up. They had, when you went up the steps, alongside, there was kind of like a wall. They had a white, like laundry type basket that had a bunch of miscellaneous stuff in it, and a couple other little items that were laying in there. I didn't look in them, so I'm not sure exactly what was in there at that time. And then as we walked to head down to, down towards the basement where this alleged lab was, I looked off to my left and there was some firearms lying on the floor. There was some computer monitors and a bunch of miscellaneous things that Aaron Kackman identified as like listening devices and different security things that they had gathered and placed all along that wall.
Did you locate any items of drugs or drug paraphernalia?
Not at that time. And then we were just, like I said, we were walking and then we walked in, went downstairs.
When you entered, did Mr. Kackman show you any containers full of paraphernalia he said they collected?
Yeah, there was, like I said, miscellaneous different things. He advised me that there was a scale and he had just kind of pointed out different things like that. Like I said, I just looked at what he had said. I didn't touch it. I just kept walking.
And then eventually you went in the basement to look at what he called a lab.
Correct.
How did that go?
We walked downstairs. He had pointed out their living quarters because we were walking past that to get to the plywood closets where the lab setup was. And he had said that there was some drug paraphernalia on the table in the living quarters, and I had walked over there and visually scanned it and turned around and walked and went back out, and then went to the 3 plywood like makeshift closet doors, which contained some Pyrex dishes. There was a coffee pot that had like white dried crystal on the bottom. There was a bunch of big jugs that had a brown like substance that I didn't know what it was. There was scales. There was beaker holders. There was actually some, I don't know the correct terms, but some glass. I don't want to say beaker because I don't know that necessarily it's a beaker, but stuff that you would use if you're going to be mixing substances that would actually attach to the round columns that you would use like in a science lab. There was a pressure cooker in there that had some tubing running out of it.
What did you do about what you found there?
I took a bunch of photos and advised Mr. Kackman that I was going to send him to the state DCI guys that were down in Madison, because this was something that I had not seen before.
You just didn't have the training experience to identify whatever it is.
Correct.
Okay. So what happened then?
I took pictures. We went back upstairs. He showed me the sawed-off shotgun that Troy referred to earlier in that day on the phone. And then we just talked about, you know, that he actually put gloves on and went over and showed me the scales that, a scale that he had. I don't know if he found it, but that was in one of those things when we walked by it. And then I told him that Troy was going to reach out to me later on in that day to come up with a time to come and retrieve the rest of that stuff.
Okay. What happened then?
I left.
Did you take anything with you?
No, I did not.
Did you have any contact with Troy or Aaron Kackman before leaving?
No,
Were there any efforts to secure the building?
not at that time.
Okay. Were there any efforts to secure the building later?
Correct. Yes.
Could you describe that?
I came back, I sent the photos off to DCI. First, I called them. They have a number due to budget cuts. It's not an answered phone call. I didn't have a number. All the DCI guys that I'd worked with in previous occasions had retired. So I talked to or spoke to another deputy who was there and asked if he had any DCI contacts. And he said, yeah, he had one. So he actually reached out to his contact. And our photos, the photos that I took were sent to that male party. It was determined that we needed to do more investigation on that and we were going to try to get a warrant. So we needed to secure the building. So what I did is I went and got some of my breakaway evidence tape and I walked along the entire building and secured all the door entrances and all the window entrances.
Was there any discussion with Aaron Kackman or Troy Chamberlain prior to you doing that?
Yes, I believe I had called and left a message for Troy stating what the process was, what was going to happen next. Aaron arrived on scene and said that he had to go out of town up to Hibbing, Minnesota for a 3-day security detail. And he contacted Troy while I was standing there and Troy told him to go ahead and give me the key and that whatever law enforcement needed, he would work with us. And so I had the key. He went in, grabbed his night bag to go to Hibbing, and then he left. And then the doors, that's when all the evidence tape and everything was put on the doors and nobody made entry after that.
So to clarify, when you were talking with Mr. Kackman and heard him talking to Troy, did you actually speak to Troy? Did you overhear Troy or did Aaron Kackman just represent us talking to Troy?
I could overhear parts of the conversation and then Kackman then referred and told me that information.
Okay. And in relation to when this happened, did this happen the same day you were there on the 19th or a different day?
The same day.
Okay. Have you ever been inside the Madison Avenue property in your official capacity before?
Yes.
Could you describe that?
I was there for a civil family matter, just as like a standby, keep the peace type thing.
Involving Troy and Laura Chamberlain?
Yes, sir.
So you were familiar about their ownership of the property.
Yes.
When you had talked with Karen or overheard the traffic, were you updated at all on the ownership of the property?
I spoke to Karen and she advised me, or Deputy Krupa, and she advised me that Polk County had put out a thing stating that they needed to be removed from there. I believe it was prior to the 16th and they waited till that day and that's when she met up and they were removed.
So Karen told you that Troy had ownership of the property.
Correct.
Officer Getz enters the scene days later and walks straight into chaos. Guns, jars of brown liquid, and what looks like a full-blown meth lab.
And you said that you sent the photos to a deputy who contacted a DCI contact. Which deputy was that?
Deputy Greg Schaefer.
Were you Did you ever see the actual order on contempt from Polk County?
No, I did not.
Did you ever see any lease from Laura or Zachary Chamberlain? Laura Chamberlain or Zachary Chafee?
No, I did not.
Did Karen advise you that they represented they had such a document?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Ms. Landgraf?
Thank you. Did you speak with Ms. Chamberlain or Mr. Chafee on the 19th?
No, I did not.
So they couldn't have represented they had a lease because they didn't speak with you.
Correct.
Okay. When you previously went to the building, were you aware that Mr. Chafee was living there?
I knew that he was there, yes.
And when you left the building the first time, was Mr. Kackman still at the building?
Yes, he was.
No further questions.
Ms. Karen?
Thank you. Do you have any knowledge that Mr. Kackman has any training as a security guard?
I don't know that, ma'am.
Do you know if he has any license to be a security guard?
I don't know that.
And are you aware that Wisconsin does have some requirements for people to work as security guards in Wisconsin?
I'm not familiar with those.
Okay. And did you notice if he was carrying a firearm?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Do you know if he had a permit to carry?
I don't know that.
Would you agree that several days had passed since Mr. Kackman and Mr. Chamberlain took possession of the property from the time, I guess it was from 3/16, 2025 to 3/19, 2025, when you went to the property?
So the question you're asking me is, am I aware that that 3 days had passed?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the police didn't have control of the property during those 3 days, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and your testimony today is that you left the property, but you closed the property up.
Yes, I left the property and Mr. Kackman was still at the property at that time. And then when I arrived back at the property, I don't believe there was anybody in the property because Mr. Kackman came driving up when I had arrived back there.
Did you do anything to secure the property and the evidence when you left?
The second time I did, yes.
And what day was the second time?
What date?
Yes.
The 19th. That would have been on Wednesday.
And so is your testimony that second time that nobody besides the police went in the property after that, unobserved by the police?
Can you please restate your question? I'm confused a little bit.
So when you say secured, does that mean that the only people that were in the residence would have been observed by the police?
The second time?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No further questions.
Mr. Schmidt?
Nothing.
You may, well, unless Ms. Landgraf, you have any questions off of Ms. Perrin?
No.
You may step down. Thank you. Further witnesses, Mr. Schmidt?
I don't have any other witnesses. I'm going to enter that order on contempt into evidence I mentioned before. For now, the only thing I'm going to be asking the court to take judicial notice of, unless if they present something, will be the search warrant that was obtained that resulted in the search. Yeah.
Was that filed previously?
The search warrant?
Mhm.
Yes, I believe, well, I have the DNA search warrant in the file. I don't see-
Search warrant and return. I know it has to be in the file because they did the return.
I have the DNA search warrant.
It was provided by Discovery. You want me to just file it again with the court?
Yes.
This one. One
Okay,
for the- They did when they executed on the property.
okay, I do have that one. In Chamberlain's, it's
But you have a
document,
document number? I could just
So
go
it's
record that.
this one is document 27. I don't-
Document 27.
I don't know what it is in Mr. Chafee's case, though.
Well, in. Of the return of the search warrant is document 27.
I'll just file it.
It's page 9 and 10 of the return.
Yep, I'm seeing that now. All right, I am taking the judicial notice of document number 27 in Laura Chamberlain's file, as well as document 20 in Zachary Chafee's file. You're asking the court to take judicial notice of, or you're actually filing the order for contempt or order on contempt?
I actually filed the order of contempt from Polk County that was submitted on, that was filed in Polk County on February 12th, 2025, and Polk County 23 FA 112.
Yes, I take judicial notice of the Polk County case and will receive the order on contempt. All right, Ms. Landgraf, any witnesses?
Can I have a second to confer with my client?
You may.
Laura.
Is there any witnesses?
No,
All right, argument, Mr. Schmidt?
Is the defense submitting any evidence?
no, Your Honor, I would like to submit a brief. There's some complicated argument in case law I would like to submit.
All right, okay. Simultaneous with both sides?
So just to clarify, the defense is not submitting any leases into evidence. I think if they don't, it kind of makes this really fast.
Well, I think the officer already testified that she looked at, that she saw the lease.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
All right. Okay, so how long are you looking at? I know Ms. Perrin, Ms. Landgraf, you are usually kind of busy. How long are you asking? 30 days? Or do you need more?
30.
You think
30 is
that's
fine.
enough?
Yes.
All right. I will give you until November 7th. You have briefs submitted, arguments. Mr. Schmidt, this is simultaneous, so by November 7th.
Sure.
We can set a status. What a status for December 15th. Would you be able to do 9:15 or 2:45? Zoom is fine. I may or may not have already had my decision done by then.
9:15 or what?
Or 2:45. Or 2:30, sorry,
What day did you say?
December 15.
I prefer morning, but I can do either.
What time did you say in the morning?
9:15.
That's, oh, right before bed. That works for me.
All right, 9:15 on December 15. Status. My history is most likely I would have my decision done before then. However, if you're gonna have complicated law, et cetera, perhaps I'm not, but I would probably expect I will already have had it submitted. Any questions? Anything else?
Not for me.
The judge scheduling the next move and unanswered questions hanging in the air. The courtroom empties, but the story is far from over. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.